that time, y'all. Time for Big Boys Boxing.
I was gonna rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me.
What's going on, team? Welcome back to Big Boys Boxing. I'm Jono, your host. And as per usual, let me get a couple of things sorted here. Better get into the live panel myself. Forgot to last time. And we shall post the link so anybody can jump on and have a yarn. So there's the link. Pin that to the top. That is the link to join, y'all, for anybody. So, a quick wrap up of what happened over the weekend. We were supposed to have Tevin Farmer v Mickey Bay on Friday or Saturday here in New Zealand, but it didn't happen. Some of the card happened. We had a few fights and it was pretty interesting. It was funny though. The broadcast was they had like two cameras, one stationary a few feet back from the ring for between rounds, and they had one mobile cameraman walking around the bottom of the ring filming through the ropes, not even up on the corner. It was pretty ratchet. It was worse than a Don King show. And the first four fights of the card happened, and then both the Lorenzo Smith and the Tevin Farmer fight were cancelled. Apparently the promoters didn't come up with the money, so the fighters weren't going to fight. The fighters did everything they possibly could to try and make the fight happen at the last minute. I heard even Devin Haney was there to support Lorenzo Simpson, and he went into the opponent's locker room and offered to pay his person cash to make it happen. They refused because they hadn't signed a contract with Devin Haney. There was also some kind of glove issue. They didn't like the grunt gloves that Simpson was going to wear, so they said you have to wear such and such gloves. They gave him some gloves and they had dried blood splatter all over them. He said he'd still use them, but all in all, the promoters didn't come through with the money, so the last two fights on the card didn't happen. Pretty shitty, really. And it's a real shame because that Mickey Bay v Tevin Farmer fight was already scheduled to happen earlier I think it was in Dubois or something, and the president there died, so that fight got cancelled months ago. They rescheduled it and it still didn't happen, so pretty stink. They're out of ink. So it was what it was. But yesterday we had the return of the takeover Teofimo Lopez. He was taking on Pedro Campa, a Korea super lightweight, and Teofimo got the knockout in the 7th round. I predicted the 5th myself, so I missed it, but I even missed the half of the fight, so it was what it was. But Teo looked okay. You could see some of his heavier shots weren't quite having the effect that they were when he was at lightweight. He put Campa down for one of the early rounds, I can't quite remember, and then he knocked him down again in the 7th. Knocked him, he like went straight back onto his back, looked like he was knocked out, but then he got straight back up, showed no ill effects, wasn't staggering, stumbling, and Tony Weeks called it off. Pretty poor stoppage, really. Campa could have continued no problem, so a bit of a shitty stoppage in that one. Also on the card we had Andres Cortez. He fought his way to an 8-round decision over Abraham Montoya. I picked that one by decision, so I was happy with that. Also on the card we had the Puerto Rican sensation Xander Zayas, 13-0, taking on what was this guy's name? Elias Espadas, who was 22-4. A little bit of a step up for Xander Zayas, but this kid is looking sharper and sharper every fight. He looked great in this one. He looked like he was relaxed, taking it easy, picking his shots, and he got the stoppage in the fifth round. I picked the 8th round for the stoppage, the last round of the fight, as it was an 8-rounder, but not too bad a pick. Still got the knockout. I was a little bit dubious about that pick actually, because Zayas has had a couple of fights where he hasn't got the stoppage and he's looked a little bit lost sometimes, but he is on the improve, so I think he's the next big thing out of Puerto Rico. Xander Zayas at 154. We also had, how do we say this dude's name? Enrique Vivas. I picked him to get a decision win, and he got a split decision win over 8. It was a competitive fight against, how do we say this guy's name? Eddie Valencia Machado. He was 19-7 with 6 draws. So yeah, it was a predictable one to look at a split or a majority decision for that one. But unfortunately, I think I picked the UD on that one. I'm not sure, but I picked the decision anyway. And further down the card, we had former Olympian Troy Isley. He went the distance with Victor Tony. Victor Tony, very tricky kind of guy, slips a lot of punches, uses a Philly shell, shoulder roll, but he wasn't really putting enough out. I picked a decision on this one as well, and my reasoning for that was Victor Tony went the distance with, what's his name, Sebastian Fondora, the Towering Inferno. So I figured if the Towering Inferno ain't getting him out of there, there ain't no way Isley's getting him out of there. Don't get me wrong, Isley's a pretty decent sort of boxer, but I don't think he's got any kind of big power. He boxes fairly well, but yeah, we'll see how he goes. We also had Duke Reagan on the card. He was 6-0, taking on Diego. How do we say this one? Fuentes, maybe? D'Angelo Fuentes, who was 7-0 as well. I only saw parts of that fight. That was early on the card. But Duke Reagan gets the decision over 6 and moves to 7-0. So that's the weekend wrap up. There wasn't a hell of a lot on there. There was enough though, enough to entertain, enough for me to make a little money with the bookies. I think I turned $10 into $40, so meh. But the weekend coming is the one that's gonna be a massive weekend of boxing. Massive weekend. Chris Cabrera in the house, good to have you in, man. Thoughts on potential matchups between Morel and Balanga? And Morel and Plant at 168. I might pick Balanga. I might pick Morale against Balanga. But I might pick Plant against Morale. And then I might pick, if Balanga and Plant fought, I might pick Plant over Balanga. So for me, that's a triangle of death, maybe. I don't know. Balanga is an interesting kind of guy, you know. He had those first 16 knockouts, but when he stepped up in competition and tried to box a bit more, it probably looks a little bit more complete these days than he did. Not going so hell for leather early rounds. I think it was in his 17th fight. He kind of got a fright when he went hell for leather and he couldn't get the stoppage. So yeah, he's an interesting character, is Edgar Balanga. Benavidez probably beats. Oh yeah, I think Benavidez will beat all those guys. I'd like to see Benavidez up at cruiserweight. I think he's light heavyweight. I think he's too big. He could possibly be even better at light heavyweight because he's not draining as much, because he's a real big dude for 168, eh? Real big dude. But anyways, moving on to this massive weekend ahead. Got a few cards on, but there's 3 that I'm interested in. Of course, being a heavyweight channel, I'm most interested in the Anthony Joshua v Alexander Usyk card in Saudi. The main event for me is a pick'em. It's a massive fight. It could go either way, but I'm going to leave my official prediction for a little bit later on in the week. I'm going to do a proper one on the 3 heavyweight fights on that card. Actually, I'll put out a decent length video on that one with my opinion about what might go on throughout the fights. But I could give you a little hint. I am leaning towards Usyk to win it. I'm not going to tell you how, because it is what it is. That's my opinion. We've also got Callum Smith at 168. He's fighting on the card. He's fighting Matthew Bodalik, who is 21-1. So both these guys have got 1 loss in their career. Of course, Callum Smith's 1 loss is to Canelo Alvarez at a lower weight division in super middleweight. It could be an interesting fight, but I think I'll be taking Callum Smith possibly by decision in that fight. Actually, let me look who Bodalik lost to. I can't remember off the top of my head. Looks like it was earlier in his career. There it is. He got TKO'd in the first round. Wow, who did that? Dragon Lepei. It's not Leopai, it's Lepei. Dragon Lepei. Don't even know who that dude is. At the time, he was 10-1-2. So, Bodalik, he's fought. Looks like all of his fights have been in France. Just scrolling through. Yeah, man. He has not fought outside of France in his entire career. So this is going to be interesting. How is he going to do fighting away from home for the first time? And it also makes me think about the level of his competition. I'm just marching through what I see here. And it looks like they're all French. Oh. Yeah, man, so I don't know too much about this Matthew Bodalik dude, to be honest. So we'll see what happens with that fight. I'll just have a quick look back over at the chat here. What do we got here? Chris Cabrera. Don't think AJ has the firepower to keep Usyk's pressure off him. Well, I've got no qualms that Joshua's got the power to do it, but power's no good if you can't hit the man, is it? You know, Joshua, in my opinion, would have to do a hell of a lot more work to the body early on. Potentially lose rounds early on to do what he needs to do to slow Usyk down. But when he stabs a jab to the body or right to the body, he's got to get his head off the line, because Usyk's gonna be putting something back at him straight away all the time. That's his game, and I just don't think it's something Anthony Joshua's programmed to do, is move his head as he punches, you know. So I think that's going to be a massive factor, but the pressure is definitely going to be on Anthony Joshua. I can see Usyk starting fast. He's already got the confidence, knowing that he confidently outboxed Anthony Joshua last time. I think he knows very well that if Joshua doesn't go to his body, he's going to have plenty in the tank. We saw in the 12th round last time, he just about got Joshua out of there. So yeah, we'll see what Joshua does. If Joshua fights a perfect fight, then he can win this, no problem. He can stop Alexander Usyk, but I just can't see Anthony Joshua fighting a perfect fight. He hasn't shown the ability to be able to adapt during a fight in the past. You know, he's got Robert Garcia with him, who's a master tactician. It's possible he could maybe change up what he needs to change up during the fight. It's a bit of an unknown situation for me, I reckon. But yeah, I'll quickly get back to this card. Matthew Bodalik. So the next one down is the IBF final eliminator between Filip Hrgovic and Zhilei Zhang. This is a good fight. You know, Zhilei Zhang is definitely at the twilight of his career. Man is 39 years old, right? But he hasn't taken a hell of a lot of punishment throughout his career. He did have a longish amateur career. I think he was was it 2008 silver medalist at the Olympics? Can't remember which. He was a silver medalist at one of the Olympics. I'm pretty sure it wasn't the 2012, because that was Joe Joyce and Anthony Joshua in the final. Maybe it was a bronze medal in the 2012 Olympics. I can't even remember. It's not really that important, but his alias is the Big Bang. Dude can hit, man. If he hits Filip Hrgovic flush with that big left hand, and it hits like absolutely flush, Filip Hrgovic's going to sleep. I don't care who you are. If this dude's big left hand hits you flush and you don't see it coming, or you're doubling the impact by coming in as he throws it, you get knocked out. Simple as that. But he is pretty slow. And he doesn't utilize his jab as much as I'd like. He's got very slow feet. Now, Filip Hrgovic doesn't exactly have the fastest feet, and he's also shown defensive vulnerability in his career to date. He's been hit quite a bit, but at the same time, he hasn't had to have any respect for anybody's power that he's faced. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head, who's the biggest puncher Filip Hrgovic has fought? I'll have a quick lunge through. No. No, definitely not Rydell Booker. No. Eric Molina, he's got a bit of a punch. Mario Heredia, nope. Gregory Corbin, nope. Kevin Johnson, nope. Mia Mansour, I don't know. For me, I think it's a toss-up between Amir Mansour and Eric Molina. Now we know Eric Molina can punch a little bit now and then. We've seen him stagger Deontay Wilder, but I don't think any of these guys hit anywhere near as hard as Zhili Zhang. Now, I'm sure these guys actually fought in the amateurs. I wonder if it's on the amateur record here. Oh shit. There we go. Come on, amateur record. There we go. Amateur record. I'm sure they fought in the amateurs at some point. So Philip Hegemook's last amateur fight was with Tony Yoka. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was 2016, I think. Tony Yoka, where is the date? Yeah, 2016 Rio Olympics. Tony Yoka beat him. I think it was in the semi-final. But really, Philip Hegemook won that fight, I thought. Prior to that was Lanier Pero. Well, it should be in here. I'm sure he fought Zhili Zhang at one point. Maybe he didn't. Tony Yoka again there. And he beat Tony Yoka. Oh no, he lost. Split decision. Lost twice to Tony Yoka. Oh, come on, I'm sure it's in here. Can't be there. Behind this door. Yeah, I remember that fella. Man, I'm not seeing it anyway. Maybe I was dreaming. I know Anthony Joshua fought Zhili Zhang. Zhili Zhang took a knee and quit, pretty much. Yeah, I'm not seeing it in there anyway. So it's going to be an interesting fight. Final eliminator for the IBF mandatory position. I'm interested to see how it's going to go. I'm probably going to do a live stream because there's 3 heavyweight fights on that card. And they should be pretty close together by the looks of it. Let me go back here. I've lost my card. Go back. There we go. So, yeah, Philip Hegemook also on there. We've also got Badu Jack for the first time on the televised broadcast for a while. I think the last time I saw him he was fighting on Trilla, but he's been over in Dubai running his own promotional company, doing his own thing over there. It's good to see. He's fighting in a 10-rounder against Richard Rivera, who's unbeaten at 21-0. I think that's going to be a good fight, but like I said, when I saw Badu Jack fight last, I think it was on Trilla, he's starting to look pretty shot, pretty slow, pretty lazy. He won that fight, but I don't think he was properly motivated, so maybe motivation this time around with an unbeaten up-and-comer will be motivation for him to get in good shape and fight properly. He is 38 years old though, so I don't know. Richard Rivera's pretty sharp. It's a good fight. I don't mind watching that one whatsoever. But the next one down on the card is former cruiserweight Andrew Tabiti, who's 19-1. he's going to be taking on this guy James Wilson, who honestly I don't know squat about. I've looked him up. I don't recognize the face. His alias is the Beast. He is 7-0-1. He's only 6 foot tall, so it's going to be similar heights for both him and Tabiti. Doesn't have a listed age, doesn't have a listed height and reach for him either. But he certainly looks like a beast. If you notice the thumbnail for this stream, it's got him in the corner there. He certainly looks like a beast. He looks a bit like the body type of Martin Bacoli, but a little bit smaller maybe. I mean, a really in shape Martin Bacoli kind of lookalike. But his last fight out, he fought a guy, Miguel Cubes, who was 13-20. You would have thought it should be easy. But it was a 6-round majority draw, so I'm not quite sure what happened in that fight. I'm just looking through his record to see if there's any other names that I recognize. Don't recognize this dude. Derek Gardens, can't say I know that dude either. He's only 2-2. George Alberto Leal, no, don't know him. He was 14-9. Man, I don't know any of these dudes on this record, so it could be interesting. Andrew Tabiti's first heavyweight fight, I believe. I haven't seen Andrew Tabiti fight for a long time. The last time I saw him fight was in the World Super Series of Boxing, when he was fighting in that cruiserweight, the first cruiserweight tournament. So just quickly looking through his record here, see if there's the last 2 fights. I don't know the dudes. And there's the fight he lost against Yonia Dorticos. That was way back, well, not way back, 2019 he lost that fight, Andrew Tabiti. And he lost it by KO in the 10th of 12, and that's his only loss. But he did make a good account of himself throughout that fight, and that was the last fight I remember seeing of his. It's got a banging going on, hold on. Oh, that's right, it's my corn Silverside cooking. Alright, yeah, there's not really. He fought Steve Cunningham. He beat Steve Cunningham over 10 rounds, majority decision. That's probably about all worth mentioning. But I'm interested to see how he goes at heavyweight. I mean, he's not a big dude himself, but he is younger than I thought. He's 32 years old. I thought he was a bit longer in the tooth than that. He's 6'1" with a 76-inch reach, so he may have a slight reach advantage. 76 is probably about right for a 6'1" guy, but the other guy's 6'1". Looking at the picture of the guy, if I can quickly find him. Yeah, he looks like he's got longish arms, this guy, this James Wilson, so we'll see what happens. It's a good fight, interesting fight to say the very least. Right, what else we got? Mate, nothing new in the chat. Tabiti has a firepower, Chris thinks AJ doesn't have the firepower to keep Usyk off it, man. I don't think it's the firepower that's the problem. I think it's the speed and the lack of head movement. That's going to be the problem for Joshua. So another card that's on this weekend is Showtime. Have got a card on. They've got Adrian Broner versus Omar Figueroa Jr. As the main event. That's gonna be at super lightweight. It's an interesting fight. I'll probably be picking Figueroa to win it, maybe on points, but you never know. If Adrian Broner's serious about this fight, he could pull one out. He's done it in the past, but generally I like to tune into Adrian Broner fights to watch his ass get beat. I don't like big mouths, and he's definitely one of them. Also on that card we have Alberto, how do you say it, Puello. He's 20-0 in a 12-round fight against, I always get this guy's first name wrong, Baturzon Akhmedov. He's 9-1. That's going to be at super lightweight 140. Decent fight. Akhmedov, you guys must have heard of this dude. I don't really know much about this Alberto Puello, to be honest, so I'm not going to make a pick on that one right now. And we also have Roger Gutierrez is on the card. He's 26-3-1. He's going to be in another 12-round fight against Hector Luis Garcia, who's 15-0, so that could be a very interesting matchup as well. Gutierrez has fought a few decent guys. I don't think Hector Garcia has fought that higher level of competition. I'm not going to look too much into it because I'm not really into these little guys. That's at super featherweight, so meh. Also on the card, Brandon Lee, unbeaten prospect at 25-0, fighting in a 10-rounder against Will Madeira, who is 17-1-3. I've seen both these guys fight. I'll probably pick Brandon Lee in this fight. It's at super lightweight. Will Madeira, 3 losses, been stopped once. Oh no, he's got 1 loss, been stopped once. Where we go, here's the stoppage. He lost, wow, he got stopped in the first round against Felix Verdejo. Interesting. Be a good fight though. It looks like a pretty good card for Showtime on this one. Also, what else have we got on here? Israel Barrasso, can't say I know the dude. 23-3-2 in an 8-rounder against Fernando David Saucedo. I know him too. Yeah, decent matchup. I'm gonna give a pick on that. Another super lightweight fight. And there's another super lightweight fight. Well, there's quite a few other fights, so I'm guessing they're gonna have a prelims, and then they're gonna have the main card. What's this? Lanier Pero. Okay, we've got a heavyweight on there. Lanier Pero. I missed that one. 8-rounder against Joel Goodall. Okay, I'll have to get that one into the prediction league this week as well. And it's going to be a stack card. Including this one, there'll be 13 on it now. Lanier Pero. He's a good fighter, man. Joel Goodall. Y'all must have heard of him. He's the guy who got punched out of the ring. Can't remember who it was. Punched right out of the ring. Have a quick look. Journeyman level guy. Was it? I'll know the name when I see it. It wasn't Sonny Conto. It wasn't George Arias. Oh, Cassius Chaney. Yeah, Cassius Chaney smacked him right out of the ring. If Cassius Chaney is smacking you right out of the ring, he ain't no world level fighter. So that's about all worth talking about on that card, I think. Yeah, man, I'll leave the rest alone on that one. Know what they are. And there's one other card, and I did mention his name. Cassius Chaney is back in action this weekend. So where's the card? Where's the card? No, it wasn't that one. Shit, I must have closed the window. So I'll just find where I had Cassius Chaney just before. Where is this? I went through the Joe Goodall one, didn't I? There's Cassius Chaney. He is fighting this weekend, and he's going to be taking on Matthew McKinney. Don't know who the dude is. 9-5-3 is his record. It's going to be an 8-rounder. Let me just bring up the card. It doesn't have a listed broadcaster. It's pretty early in the week, so it may pop up later on in the week. It is in the States. It's going to be in... where are we? Connecticut. It's going to be in Connecticut. And the main event on the card is Francis Hogan, who's 11-0, taking on, Cletus Pendurvis. I'm not sure how you say his last name. But he's 21-10-2. Can't believe the main event's only a 6-rounder too. Wow. What do we got? How many fight? What do we got? And I don't even know any of these names on this card. But Cassius Chaney's fight, he's 21-1, with the one loss being to George Arias, a little 6-foot heavyweight. He looks a bit like Muhammad Ali. It's gonna be an 8-rounder. This Matthew McKinney is ranked 402 in the world, so it's pretty much a comeback fight for Cassius Chaney. I think it's probably going to be the main event actually, because it's got the most amount of rounds. They've just got it stacked funny on BoxRec. And Chaney hasn't fought since he took that loss to George Arias. It was a split decision loss. I don't know how the hell it ended up a split decision. George Arias did slow down a little bit in the second half of that fight, but there ain't no way in hell it should have been a split decision. It was over 10 rounds. I'm just trying to find the actual scorecards here. See who it was who scored it to Chaney. Oh wow, the scorecards have all changed on BoxRec as well. They've got a bit of a new look BoxRec. It's a bit of a pain in the ass actually. What we got? 93-98 Arias, 93-97 Arias, 96-94 Arias. Wow, they had 4 judges. 91. Hold on, let me get this right. Red. Yeah, red must be. Yeah, red must be Chaney. And blue must be Arias. So 93, 98 to Arias. 93, 97 Arias. 96, 94 Chaney. 91, 99 Arias. 4 judges. 3 of them had Arias winning by a substantial margin, and 1 had it close at 96, 94 to Chaney. And that's bullshit. It doesn't say who the judges are on this new format. That sucks. It's just FANSWIJBMC. Okay, the first score was by the fans at 93-98. Interesting. They take us. Okay, Steve Weisfeld, 93-97 Arias. John Basile was the guy, had it 96-94 Chaney. Well, I don't know who John Basile is. Mark Constantino. Yeah, Mark Constantino, 91-99. So he only had Chaney winning 1 round. How the hell did this other guy have Chaney winning 6 rounds? Crazy shit. But anyways, Chaney is on that card this weekend. There's his comeback fight. It should be a straightforward. I think he should stop this Matthew McKinney guy. He's a big dude, as Chaney, 6'6". He's got a few skills, but he looked a bit lost against George Arias last time out with the speed, the movement, the evasiveness of George Arias. So it is what it is. Phil Carl Roberts in the building. Good to see you, brother. Adria also in the house, or Adari also in the house. Good to have you in. Bashir Akhmedov is a very good heavyweight prospect. Oh, hey. Isn't it Abdu Kakarov? Abdu Kakarov. Yes, right. We missed a few comments here. What have we got? Become the next future world heavyweight champion. Yeah, man. I think all of these future heavyweight champions are going to have to get through Jared Anderson when the time comes. I think that dude's the man. He's going to be the man. But we'll see. We'll see. Be interesting. What else we got here? I agree, the old boxing format was better. Yeah, it was much easier to operate. They go and change shit up. It's not any better. It's way harder to operate, and you have to go certain places where you could see stuff before. You can't see it straight away now. It just seems a little bit more difficult to use. I don't know, something, with all things new, there's always a getting used to period, but I think I'm going to be complaining about this one for a while. BoxRec should have an app, make things easier for everyone. I think they do have an app, and I think I've looked at it before, but usually when I'm doing proper research and looking at stats and things, I go to BoxRec on the PC. It's just easier to operate, having a mouse, I guess. But yeah, big weekend this weekend. I was just saying, Phil, I didn't notice Lanier Pero was fighting, so that's another one to add. But from what I've looked at so far, I had 12 fights lined up for the prediction league this week, so there should be 13 at least now. Bizarre stuff happened on the Tevin Farmer card. Yeah, I touched on that at the very start. Weird that the promoters could come up with the cash, man. They just couldn't come up with the cash to pay the fighters. I heard even Devin Haney was in there trying to pay Lorenzo Simpson's opponent cash for his purse for them to fight, but the opponent wouldn't do it because he hadn't signed a contract with Devin Haney or some shit. So, but it sounds like even Farmer and Bay, everybody was trying to do what they could to try and make those fights happen, due to the promoters' shortfall and unprofessionalism. But yeah, it just never happened. Let me have a quick look. That's out who this promoter is. Let me have a look. Oh, it's not going to come up on Tevin Farmer's record, is it? Because it didn't happen. Oh, look at this. They've rescheduled. 8th of December. 8th of December, Mickey Bay and Tevin Farmer. By the looks of it. Shit, I can't remember who else was on that card. Can't be Lorenzo Simpson either. Anybody in the chat remember who else was on that card? So I can find it on BoxRec. I watched it, but I can't even remember any of the names. I had some bets on, but they were only for Lorenzo Simpson and Tevin Farmer. So that didn't happen. Oh yeah, also Victor Vickhurst was cancelled for some reason this weekend as well. I noticed the main event on that card happened. Shit, what was his name? Oh, I can look at the prediction league. It was on there. Here we go. Let's have a look. IHOR is his first name. He's a German dude. Szymanowski or some shit. He had a win over Kevin Johnson on the weekend. UD decision. It was expected. But yeah, Victor Vickhurst or Victor Faust. His fight was scrapped for some reason. I can't remember who he was fighting. It was some kind of bum as well that I hadn't heard of. But Victor Faust is kind of on the rise. He did have a couple of fights in America. I think he was fighting on top ranked cards, and then he's disappeared back to Germany all of a sudden. I picked UD also. Who was that for, Phil? I picked Tevin Farmer by UD. I did a bit of a sneaky because I noticed some people copying my picks when I do a lot of them earlier in the week and changing it by one round or something. So I initially put Mickey Bay by UD, and then with an hour to go before the deadline, I went and changed it to Tevin Farmer. But yeah, it's an interesting fight, that Mickey Bay Tevin Farmer. It's real competitive, I think. Oh, that guy, yeah, that guy to win against Kevin Johnson, yeah. If you got any kind of stick, you're gonna beat Kevin Johnson by decision. He doesn't generally throw a lot of punches. Now and then he actually tries. I think when he fought Marius Wok, his most recent time, he actually threw hands and was competitive in the fight. It was weird, but not in this one. I haven't seen any highlights of it yet. It was in Germany, didn't see a broadcast, so we'll see what happens. Trying to pick ASAP. Yeah, I've started making a file, just a Word document or notepad document with all my picks, because I participate in another boxing league, prediction league as well. So I make all my picks and then don't post them until the Thursday or Friday now, because yeah, don't want to give everybody too much idea of what I'm doing. Johnson's normally stays. Yeah, normally stays in there the entire fight. Not many KO losses. Yeah, I think he's only got 2 or something. And even when he lost to Anthony Joshua, he was still on his feet, wasn't he? Let me have a look here. Kevin Johnson's record. Kevin Johnson's box rec. He's got 20 losses with 3 stoppages. 35 wins with 19 KOs. Back in the start of the Klitschko era, he was actually a really decent fighter. But as he got older, he got a lot more defensive. And it was what it was. All these reds, there's a TKO loss. TKO loss in the 5th to Martin Bacoli. I don't remember seeing that one. So I'm not too sure. I know one of his stoppage losses to Peter Milas. It says a knockout, but it was stopped on cuts. 8th round. Yeah, there it is. 8th round of 10. Peter Milas. He got stopped. But I know for a fact that one was cuts because I saw that one. And of course we've got the Anthony Joshua TKO loss. Where is it? 2nd round. Anthony Joshua TKO loss. I thought that was a bit of a fast stoppage. Johnson was defending himself. He wasn't throwing stuff all back, though. I guess that's why the referee stopped it. But yeah, the only one I can imagine might have been an actual knockout was the Bacoli stoppage, but I'll have to look that up because I don't know. Did anyone see that Bacoli stopping Kevin Johnson fight? Was it a real knockout or was it another bit of a stoppage by the referee? Daniel Dubois v Jared Anderson would be great. Future fight. Damn right it would be. That's a great fight, Adari. We'll see what happens in the near future though. I'm hearing Jared Anderson is trying to target Carlos Tekken right now. But whether he can get him in the ring or not is another story. We'll see. Very interesting to see where he's going to go. Chisora has apparently mentioned that White and Dubois could happen. Yeah, well, there's no reason why it can't happen. Dillian White's actually a free agent. He can go to whatever platform he wants as long as Fish Eyes doesn't try and rope him into 3 fights or something. That's a great fight for Daniel Dubois. I think Dubois will win it, to be honest too. I know Dillian's got experience at a high level and he's got a good left hook and he's pretty smart, but I think his reactions have slowed some. And I'm a bit dubious about how his chin nerves are now. I think he's been sparkoed heavily too many times, and I think that chin's pretty suspect. And young Daniel Dubois, if he can hit White smack bang on the chin, could be night once more. Martin Bacoli v Kevin Johnson was a TKO. Johnson was still on his feet. Well, there you go. So Kevin Johnson has never ever been sparkoed. With all those losses, he's never ever been proper KO'd. Never. Wily old veteran. He defends well, he shoulder rolls a lot, takes a lot of steam off those punches, and tries to maybe wear a prospect down by letting him punch himself out and then do something later on. But of late, he hasn't been able to do much later on in the fights, has he? So those losses are adding up. You think Derek Chisora has too many losses to be fighting at the level he fights at? Well, look at Kevin Johnson. He's probably fought damn near every prospect on their way up. He's that guy. You're gonna get rounds out of him, but at times you still got to be careful because he can punch. He can punch, man, but he just doesn't do it a lot anymore. Jared Anderson would knock out Carlos Tekken. Yeah, I think so too. I think Tekken's been done for a few fights. I don't really rate him anymore. He's got name notoriety now, pretty much. That's it. When you get sparkoed by Derek Chisora, that was pretty much the turning point, I thought. When he got sparkoed by Derek Chisora, he's pretty much done from then on. You can see when he fought Jerry Forrest, I think he still got the win in that. I thought Jerry Forrest won that fight. If Jerry Forrest has beaten you, then you shouldn't be in a top 10, top 20 conversation, honestly. So yeah, whoever fights Carlos Takam these days is looking for name notoriety. He's been in world title fights. He's been in final eliminators several times. He was a pretty crafty fighter in his time, but I think he's well past his best. Johnson's record 35-20 with one draw here. Povetkin destroying White was a satisfying watch. It was indeed. It was indeed. I've said it before and I've said it in the past. Dillian White likes to talk trash at times. Absolute trash. And he got his comeuppance for it. He didn't, to be fair, he didn't talk trash about Povetkin. He was trying to talk him up because being 39 years old at the time, he had to try and talk him up because nobody was going to give him credit for him knocking out a 40-year-old. But the 40-year-old laid him on his ass. What really cracked me up too was Dillian said he was getting up it as the ref was counting, but the ref didn't count. Took his shit to try and cover it up, but hey, Dillian stepped in that ring with Tyson Fury and got laid out again. I think there's some real problems with his chin and his reactions these days. You know, once again, and after the fight with Fury, he said, I deserve a rematch because I got pushed, and when I went down I hit my head on the ground. But if you go back and look at the fight, he didn't hit his head on the ground. He did get pushed, but he had already been damaged with the prior punch. And I know pushing's illegal, but if Fury didn't push him like he did, it would have been another right hand, and that could have done even more damage. So I wouldn't have been complaining too much if I was Mr. Dillian White, Mr. China, White China, Mr. White China. Mr. Higgins White said he beat the count. Yeah, beat the count because there wasn't one. Pretty funny, really. Hey, I was getting up, I was gonna beat the count. Dreamland, there was no count, bro. White can't take uppercuts. Nope. He's been knocked out by them. Oh, it's actually the Fury one was an uppercut as well, wasn't it? So every time he's been sparked, it's been an uppercut. Every time. 2 right uppercuts and 1 left uppercut. Left uppercut from Povetkin. So yeah, I think his chin's China. That's why I'm calling him White China. I have been for a while now. Even before the Fury fight, I was talking White China. No offense to Dillian, but you know, this is how it is. If you're being sparkoed that many times against top level competition, you've got to start asking the question: is that dude's chin done? is that dude's reflexes done because he's not seeing those shots coming and he keeps getting caught by them. Joshua Pavikin and Fury KO him with the uppercuts, yeah. Rivas also knocked him down with an uppercut, that's right. That's right. Put him on his ass against the ropes. Actually, Oscar Rivas, I think he was fighting Lukas Rozansky this weekend. The weekend just gone. Let me have a look. Now that you brought that name up. Oscar Rivas. No. Ryan Rozicki was his last fight. I thought he was fighting Lukas Rozansky over the weekend, but it obviously didn't happen. I'm not quite sure what happened there. I'm sure I saw a broadcast listed on my dodgy stream site for that. Lukas Rozansky and Oscar Rivas for the Bridgerweight title or some shit. Let me see. Lukas Rozansky. Lukas Rozansky. So Lukas Rozansky is 14-0 with one draw. Last fight was Artur Szpilka, who he knocked out in the first round. I'm just trying to remember. Where's his face? I've seen him fight before. I don't think it was the Szpilka fight I saw him fight at. That was in 2021. May of 2021. Or maybe it was. Ah, no, that's who I saw him fight against. I saw him fight Izu Ugano. That was Izu's last fight. So Izu Ugano used to be a really hot prospect. He was in Kevin Barry's stable with Joseph Parker. He fought on quite a few Parker undercards. He was looking great. Then he got into that final eliminator with I don't think it was a final eliminator, it was just an eliminator with Dominic Brazil, and he was looking good for the first few rounds, but he gassed out and then got stopped due to exhaustion. After that fight, he left Kevin Barry, went back to Poland, took up his old amateur coach or something, because he used to be a kickboxer actually. He's quite a good kickboxer, but then he got in this fight against Lukas Rozansky and he looked like he just did not want to be there, didn't look in great shape, got his ass whooped. He got his ass whooped and got stopped in 4 rounds. And the stoppage, from memory, it was like he got tagged or something. He went down, then he got up and he started walking away like he didn't want to fight anymore. Got no heart. So something happened to Izu Ugano after that Brazil fight. When he left Kevin Barry, it seemed like motivation just disappeared, and lost to Lukas Rozansky. Actually, then he took another fight. He had a... Where is it? It's not showing me. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, sorry, he took another fight after Dominic Brazil, a Fred Cassie fight. That's right, I remember Fred Cassie. And Fred Cassie's a tricky character. But I think Cassie got injured. Yeah, Cassie got injured, something wrong with his arm or some shit. And he bailed on the fight in the second round. So Izu got a retirement win. And it seemed like Izu was really pissed off. when the fight finished, like he thought Fred Cassie's injury was bullshit. So he looked kind of still motivated then. That fight was also in Poland at the time. Then he took on Lukas Rozansky, and that's where I know Lukas Rozansky from. Rozansky fucked him up. So yeah, Oscar Rivas and Lukas Rozansky was a good scrap at Bridgerweight. I'd like to see it. I thought it was going to be happening this weekend, but for some reason it just didn't. He went through a war with Brazil. Yeah, he did. It was a really good fight until he gassed out. I mean, some of the body work that Easy was doing. Oh, those body shots were just brutal. He put Brazil down like 3 times, and only one of them was called a knockdown or something. It might have been 2 called a knockdown, but he put him down several times. And credit to Brazil, he got up and fought through it and managed to get the win due to exhaustion. But if you go back and look at his face and his body, he's red all over his body where he was getting smashed up. His face was all swollen to fuck. He was getting the shit beat out of him until Easy gassed. I was rooting for Izu in that fight too, because at that point he was still an honorary Kiwi pretty much. Spent a lot of time in New Zealand when he wasn't training with Joe and Kevin. But yeah, the WBC Bridgerweight division needs to be scrapped. Unnecessary, pure trash. Why? What's wrong with it? There's such a huge gap between 224 and 200. Man, I think they should put the cruiserweight limit back down to 190, how it used to be. Let the bridgerweight be across all bodies and get rid of every single junior or super division. You know, super lightweight, get rid of it. Super bantamweight, get rid of it. Super welter, get rid of it. Super middleweight, get rid of it. They're unnecessary. That's just my opinion, but we know they're not going to get rid of the super or juniors. I see nothing wrong with the bridgerweight division, except I think it should be from 190 to 224. Because that gap between light heavyweight and cruiserweight is way too big. 25 pounds for a smaller guy, I mean, shit, that's too big. But that's just my opinion. Everyone's got an opinion, but like arseholes, you know, everyone's got them. No biggie. I think there's a place for it because there's so many guys that are too big for cruiserweight but can't really compete against the giants of the heavyweight division, you know? So to me it does make sense. I don't think they should have called it bridgerweight though. They should have just called it heavyweight and then called the bigger boys over 224 super heavyweight. You know, us little logical thinkers in the fan base don't really have a say. We're not the ones who are taking the sanctioning fees, not the ones who are making the divisions to get more sanctioning fees. That's what it is. I never hold any hope about us little fans being able to change anything with the sanctioning bodies. Logical thinking doesn't seem to appeal to these idiots. You could just make the fights at heavyweight. You could, but with having another title available for these smaller guys at heavyweight, it's more attractive for these similar size guys to get in the ring against each other, I'd imagine. They could just be made a heavyweight though. It's just there's less incentive if there ain't no belts available to these smaller guys. There are too many weight classes. Oh, way too many weight classes. I hate how they brought in all these super and junior, super or junior, whichever way you want to call it. I hate all those divisions. There's not a lot of point to them, especially down at these tiny weights where there's 4 pounds between weight divisions. That seems ridiculous. Talk what Alexander Usyk did against Anthony Joshua and George Arias did to Cassius Chaney. Shows that the Bridgerweight division is a waste of time. No, what it shows is those two guys are very good small fighters. That's what it shows. Or smaller fighters. Usyk isn't that small. He's still 6'3", almost 6'4". But different with George Arias. He's only 6 foot tall, but Cassius Chaney ain't nowhere near world level. If you saw George Arias get in there against someone like Tyson Fury, what do you think that's going to prove? It's not going to prove much because George Arias is going to get his ears boxed off. He's never going to be able to get close to Tyson Fury, is he? And Alexander Usyk is a phenomenal. He's the top of my pound for pound list. I don't know why a lot of people don't have him at the top of their pound for pound list. Well, I'm just trying to think of another instance where a small fighter has done that well against a giant. Yevgeny Romanov's pretty small, isn't he? He hasn't come across any of the huge dudes yet, but he does alright. Yevgeny Romanov, box rate. Let me look him up. Yevgeny Romanov. Starts here. He's only 6 foot tall. Russian. He does pretty well against bigger guys. Of course, there's a few guys that are going to do well against bigger guys, but you put these 6 foot flat guys in the ring against 6'7", 6'8", 6'9" skilled guys, there's going to be problems. You put them in against 6'8" guys that are trash, yeah, they're going to look good. Of course they are. What else you got? Any? Yeah, I'm only arguing my point of view, and you're entitled to yours, and I respect everybody's point of view. But that's what it is. Oscar Rivas v Ryan Rizeki was a good bridgerweight fight. Yeah, got a lot of respect for that Ryan Rizeki guy. He doesn't have a lot of power, but he's got a big heart, that boy. He just keeps punching, man. He's got a pretty good chin too. That was the inaugural title fight, wasn't it, for bridgerweight? Giovanni Bruzon, the Jose Jermaine Garcia, Morales. Holy shit, that guy's got a lot of names. It was also a good watch at the weight. I can't remember seeing that one. Giovanni Bruzon. I have to go and look it up, that one actually. I don't think I saw that one. It's a good fight though, Ari. I mean, good fight, Phil. I wouldn't mind finding that one for a look. Oscar Rivas v Derek Chisora, yeah, that's a good scrap. Oscar Rivas. I think he's an Yvonne Michelle fighter, isn't he? So he'd probably be able to fight Chisora, depending on what platform they wanted to do it on. Let's just hope Rivas doesn't have any more retina problems. Yeah. Oh, is it going to be next? Are you kidding? Let me see. Let me see. Is that confirmed? That's a good fight. If it's going to happen, that's a good fight, man. No, it's not. It's not confirmed on BoxRec yet. Derek Chisora v Oscar Rivas. I would love that. That'd be awesome. Is it? Have you heard about it, Adari? What's the deal? Teasing me. Teasing me, man. Oh, you put it on Discord. Awesome. Thanks, Phil. I'll have to check it out after the stream. It's a bit of a tear up. Shit up. That's what we like. It's competitive. That's what we like. That's what we like. That's really why it's not only the belts and it's the top of the division with this Usyk Joshua fight. I think it's going to be hella competitive, and I just love fights where I don't really know who's going to win. Those are the fights we want to see. Those are the fights that boxing should be getting made. If it's legit 30-30, not just because the promoters say it is. If the fans think it is as well, then we got us a fight. We got us a hell of a fight. So Edgar Balanga v Xander Zayas. Who wants to see that? Is Edgar Balanga the same weight? Edgar Balanga. BoxRec. Oh no, he's a bigger fighter. He's 168. Yeah, he's bigger. But Xander's eyes are still growing. He's only a young kid. I think he's 19. So he might grow up to be a super middleweight yet. But the Puerto Ricans getting it on, I wouldn't mind seeing that down the track. I was thinking of a matchup. I can't remember who the hell it was. I see Teofimo Lopez has got a fight scheduled already for, I think it's the 10th of December. Just bringing it up. Teofimo Lopez. He has. He's already got a fight scheduled for the 10th of December, and he only come off his win yesterday. It's gonna be at Madison Square Garden in New York. Opponent TBA, of course. Who do y'all think it's gonna be? 140. Who's it gonna be? There was talk of it on the broadcast, and I can't remember who the hell they were talking about. God damn it. Let me bring up the rankings to see if I can refresh my memory. Boxing scene. It's rankings. Official rankings. Get down to super lightweight. Where is it? That's middleweights. Super welter, super light. There we go. So he's with Top Rank. I won't be fighting Jose Cepeda. I won't be fighting Regis Prograis. I won't be fighting Gary Antonio Russell or Antoine Russell. Jose Ramirez. Ooh, that'll be a good scrap. Tio's in the rankings now. Oh, Ryan Garcia. So I see. When Ryan won his fight the other week, he starts this fucking rant about Tank. Tank's people are like, no, if you want to fight me, you can come down to 135 and we'll consider it. And then Oscar De La Hoya comes out and says, oh, I can't even get in touch with Tank's people. But now I see a story, well, I see actually yesterday, Oscar was talking about making the Tank fight again. So what? But I just found an article before I jumped on. Here it is. De La Hoya on facing Davis, Lopez. I think both fights could be made. He's talking about He's talking about Ryan Garcia facing either Tank Davis or Teofimo Lopez. They started this Tank talk as soon as Ryan won, and then as soon as Tio's got a fight, they start talking about fighting Tio. There ain't no way Ryan Garcia will fight Teofimo Lopez. He'll get his ass handed to him. Seriously, in my opinion, he will get his ass handed to him. For me, I think Oscar De La Hoya is just riding the publicity that Teofimo's got because he had a fight. That's all it is. I would like to think that Garcia and Tank could get it on, but I can't see that happening. You know, Floyd and Leonard Alabi are like, nope. You want to come over here and fight maybe, but you have to go down to 135. We're not going anywhere else. Hell to the no, no, no. I would think that Teofimo Lopez's opponent will be in-house. If the best arrange that quickly. Yeah, I imagine it'll be in-house too. I'm just trying to think who's with Top Rank. Who's with Top Rank? Prograis used to be, didn't he? I think he's pro Bellum or something now. And we know Bob Arum ain't going anywhere near anything that's got any kind of Daniel Kinahan association. Everybody's pretty much aware that that association is with Pro Bellum. Let's see who else is here. Sandor Martin. I don't think Sandor Martin will take it. He's turned down a fight with somebody and went and did something else. Who else have we got? Sabriel Matias. I don't know if he's with Top Rank or not. Arnold Barboza. Is that the one? That's the one they were talking about on the stream. Is he a Top Rank fighter? I'm not sure. Arnold Barboza. That won't exactly do a lot for Tio's ranking, I don't think. Just let me have a quick check at the other sanctioning bodies. Don't think Barboza's up there with the others. So I was just looking at the WBC and he's way down. busy. Regis Prograde, I'd love to see that one. Teofimo Lopez Regis Prograde would be a great fight. Ian Perro, don't know. Yes, Montana Love. Jose Ramirez. Andy Hirioka, don't know that follow, obviously Japanese or something. It's just above Tio and the IBF. Gary Antoine Russell's in there. Brandon Lee's fighting this weekend's in there. Lewis Ritson. Gabriel Valenzuela. Sandor Martin again, so I'm not seeing Arnold Barboza. Oh, there he is. WBO, he's right up there. Ooh, he's number 3 in the WBO is Arnold Barboza. So if he's top rank, that makes a lot of sense for Tio. Has Tio got a ranking with the WBO? No, they haven't updated these yet. There'll be some updates for next month's rankings and we'll get a better idea of where Tio sits all around. But yeah, I think that's the fight they were talking about on the broadcast. Arnold Barboza for Tio's next fight. Lopez v Prograde. Prograde is a good fight. Yeah, I'd love to see that one. But anyways, I guess we'll see what Tio's going to do. Surely, if the fight's scheduled already for him, I don't imagine it'll be too long before we hear who his next opponent's going to be. They'll be sorting out the twos and the fros of that fight, and we'll see where it goes. So yeah, massive weekend coming this weekend. Got that Showtime card. We got the big card in not Dubois. It's on the Red Sea. What's it called? Can't remember the place now. Fucking memory's giving me shit. It's in United Arab Emirates anyway, or Saudi. Yeah, Saudi. Or was it United Arab Emirates? I don't care. It's over there where they got camels. And you know what? If you've got DAZN, everywhere in the world besides the UK and Ireland get to watch it not pay-per-view. On your subscription, that's all it's going to cost you. And of course it's going to be free on YouTube in Ukraine. The Saudis gifted Alexander Usyk the rights in Ukraine, so the war-torn people over there will get to see it for free. Give them some motivation. So we'll see how it goes, but it's a massive weekend of boxing. Get into it. 3 heavyweight dust-ups on that main card. I'll be watching. I think I'm probably going to do a live stream for that card. Not for the whole card, but maybe for the last 4 fights, because 3 of them are heavyweights. So yeah, get into it, man. Get into it. There's 27 pounds there on Sky Box Office. Yeah, might be worth. Well, I hear that using a VPN with DAZN doesn't work. Apparently they've got some technology that if there's a VPN detected, you can't use it. So bit of a shame for you, Phil, over there, but I'm sure if we organise ourselves properly, we might be able to get a stream going on Discord. I don't think I'll be able to do it if I'm doing the live YouTube stream, but we may be able to get our Hannibal brother to jam a stream up or something. I don't know. We'll see how we go. Got a few days to think about it yet, so it is what it is. I will be posting the picks for the prediction league either tonight or tomorrow morning. At this stage it's looking like 13 to pick from, but a little more discussion with Mr. Hannibal about what we're going to put up on that, and we'll see how we go. If you're not already involved, get over to the Big Boys Boxing Discord server. The link should be in the description. If it's not, I'll drop it in there. Or you can just go to the top of the channel page on the banner, and there's a Discord link there. Get involved. Like I say, we stream some fights there. Boxing chat, boxing news, prediction league. There's all sorts of shit going on over there, and good company over there too, so get involved. And that is about me for today, so I'm hoping you have enjoyed. Don't forget to, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe, and hit that bell for future notifications. And I shall catch you all next time. Stay safe. I'm out.
So that's us for today. I hope you have enjoyed. You can show your appreciation with a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Be sure to check out our Discord community, where you can find boxing news, fight links, live streamed fights, and much more. So look after yourself and your family. I'm Jono from Big Boys Boxing, and I'm out. See you!